And we're back once again. Hello everybody, this is BrySkye, aka Bry, here with a quick little video of Sonic Generations running on the PC. Now there's two reasons for this quick little video. The first is I want to do some experimenting with Nvidia's Shadowplay technology, which is in beta on qualifying Nvidia graphics cards. That's a sort of built-in alternative to FRAPS. And the other reason is on the videogamer.com forums, Mintyrebel was talking about how every Sonic game for the last 10 or so years shouldn't have existed. While I agree with that for the most part, I will count an exception for Sonic Generations, and this is just a few levels to show you why. And that was 4 levels from the PC version of Sonic Generations, 2 classic and 2 modern Sonic levels. You may also possibly have noticed I was using a mod to play as Metal Sonic, that guy right there. So, here's some outtakes while I talk a bit more about Shadowplay. As I've said, it's Nvidia's technology to capture video game footage that's available on their newest graphics cards as part of the GeForce experience and drivers. Now, as the name suggests, it's very unintrusive. In fact, its main goal is to function the same way as the recording options on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, where it's automatically recording so many minutes of gameplay, and then you press a key to save that footage when you've done something particularly worth saving, which is very good for multiplayer games. However, it also has options to be set fully manually, where you press a key to start recording and press it again to stop. The main difference between Shadowplay and FRAPS is that Shadowplay is actually compressing the video files it creates. While FRAPS will create massive uncompressed files of fantastic quality, Shadowplay is a bit more conservative in that you'll get MP4 files, although that said the quality options go all the way up to 50 megabytes per second, which is more than adequate for anything you'll want to put on YouTube. The other benefit, in my opinion, is that Shadowplay is a bit more flexible with frames a second. Now, YouTube can only display videos at 30 frames a second, and it doesn't matter what other videos you watch on YouTube, saying you can do 60, you can't. All that happens is YouTube will undersample them down to 30 frames a second, and YouTube's compression system isn't necessarily the best at doing that. So if you can, it's better to have a source video at 30 frames a second, and take YouTube out of the equation as much as possible. Now, if you want to record at 30 frames a second in FRAPS, you can set that option, but it will also cap the gameplay itself while you're recording, and if you're used to playing at 60 frames a second, that can be very distracting. With Shadowplay, you have the options to record at 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second, but these are completely separate from gameplay. In fact, I was playing this at 60 frames a second while the recording was 30 frames a second. And it works very well. I get a video that's encoded at 30 frames a second, so there's minimal resampling, and the gameplay itself was smooth as butter. Overall, I'm very happy with Shadowplay, and it's only going to get better as it becomes more developed and eventually comes out with beta. It's not as compatible with as many games as FRAPS, especially older ones, but nonetheless, it's a great tool to have. So, I hope you've enjoyed this little sampler. I'm Bry, and I'll see you around later. And don't worry, Minty, I'm not trying to trample on your opinions at all. I just happen to think Sonic Generations isn't just a good Sonic game, I think it's a good game in its own right. So, see you around, everybody.